So here we are, Ychyfus. Me as usual, Clive Davis, and him as usual,
Darren Jones.
And also along for the ride is, who are you, sir?
I am Nick Sheehan, super fan.
Right, and Group B, I think.
Yep,
and
yep.
We've both had our wicked ways with you. And later on, in just a few minutes here, we will be joined by Mr. Toby Russell to talk about a film that he is in, or rather a series of videos he's in, MAFIA vs NINJA. And yeah, well, we had a lovely little chat with Toby, and there's a lot of really fascinating stuff in there. A lot of kind of frustratingly difficult to research rabbit holes he sent us scurrying off. We're still looking for that Robert Tai sofas as maggots horror film. Let's hope that turns up at the very least.
Yes, please.
Yes, but a lot of interesting stuff, and without further ado, we'll get to it. But then we shall return at the end, and we'll talk a little bit amongst ourselves about MAFIA vs NINJA. So, oh yeah, forgive the shit quality as well, because something funny happened, and we had to use a poor recording, so the audio is even worse than usual. But the content is just dandy. So we shall return after this. So welcome back to Ychyfus with me, Clive Davis, my hearty companion over there.
Mr. Darren Jones.
Self-confessed groupie.
Nick Sheehan.
And once again, fantastic special guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Toby Russell.
Hey.
Fan.
And Toby has been on before. When we spoke Ninja, the final duel, right? And
yeah, right. Yeah.
And we are back in Robert Tai territory for MAFIA vs NINJA. So, right, I suppose to get this out the way, because we need to make sense of this. So, Toby, which one came first? So there's a film and there's a TV series. Which came first?
The film came first.
Oh, wow.
The film was completed. The first time I met Robert Tai, he actually showed me the press book. He said, look what we've just made. And I was like blown away by it. Oh, what is this? Looks fantastic. And he goes, yeah, it's brilliant. And he didn't mention there was going to be a series, and he just was talking about it. And I just said, I want to see this badly, you know. And he said, oh, we're going to release it in a few weeks. And I did go to the premiere with them all. There's about 10 people in that premiere. It wasn't very full, you know. But
was that 1984?
Around there, I think so. Yeah.
So
I think it's like.
So you'd already turned up in Taiwan.
Yeah, I've been in Taiwan about 6 months or a bit less by that point.
Right.
And I met a kid who knew where they were. He goes, oh, you want to meet Robert Tai and them lot? I said, yeah, because I know them. I work a lot with them. And he gave me Alex's number. And he said, okay. He thought I was joking at first. He goes, stop, because he had a foreign girlfriend, and he thought I was one of her friends, you know, mucking about. I said, no, you know, I want to meet you guys. I'm a big fan. And he thought, that'd be stupid. No one likes us. And I said, no. And he goes, okay, I'll arrange you to meet Robert Tai tomorrow, or some couple of days later. And that's when I met them. And he showed me the press book of Mr. Lan, the producer, also came, Lan Tianhong, who produced all Robert's films in Taiwan. And they just completed it, and they wanted to think, do you think this is a sellable film? All the rest of the, you know, stuff. And I said, yeah, this looks amazing. If it's anything like Sunday VS Ninja, it'll be a big hit. And I think, you know, Mr. Lam sold it everywhere. When he went to Cannes market, he sold everywhere. And anyway, after that meeting, I got home. The next day, Alexander Lowe rings in and goes, yeah, can you come back to the meeting, to the hotel? I want to talk to you about something. And that's when they said, we want to make a TV. It wasn't a TV, it was a video series, because videos were really hot then in Taiwan. It was like Korea. They had every movie ever made on video. People just go to the markets and buying up catalogs, Rank or Boya Films, Warner's. And because video was really hot then, so they were going to cash in on the video boom and make a 3-part video series out of this movie by filming extra scenes. And they said, do you want to be in it? And I said, of course I do. And that's how it started. And we started shooting about 2 weeks after that. I think we were still shooting when the premiere came on of the movie. We were still doing the series.
So that would have been your first spot of acting over there then?
In Taiwan, yeah, that was, yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. So they were made very, very close in time to each other then?
Probably about 6 months, maybe. So they just finished it. He'd edited it. Yeah, I'd say 4 to 6 months. Very close. Yeah.
So you were saying that the film version,
yeah,
I'd been, you know, he'd shopped it around and he'd got a lot of interest from foreign distributors and stuff like that. And obviously went on. There was an English dub and all that.
Yeah, because that's when he met me. He was just going to the markets to sell it. That's why he said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "It looks great."
So what interests me about that is why then was there no, or was there any attempt for them to distribute the series, the video series? Because
there's no attempt for that, and also they had multiple partners who were involved. And I think Mr. Landon couldn't be bothered to buy the rights off the other 2 partners. And so I don't think he had any interest in it, to be honest. He made so much out of the movie, he thought, well, they did sell it to Korea and Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, those sort of places. Indonesia, no, I don't know about Indonesia, but they had no intention of releasing that internationally.
So when they were released in those, for instance, Korea and those other places, would they have also been a video series? Yeah,
it's only for video, shot on 16mm, so they couldn't really make prints because the film was shot on 35, but that was shot on 16.
It looks good for 16 though.
Yeah, it does.
Because you can't really, you know, I mean, it's, you know, because the stuff we watched was kind of VHS
it's quite bad quality, those VHSs though. They're quite. They sort of deliberately downgrade it to make.
Yeah, but like part 2 and 3 is actually quite good for VHS quality, and you can't really tell the difference between.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah,
it was a laugh.
So they're from
the fighting's good, isn't
it? Those are from the Taiwanese VHSs, right? So have they ever turned up? Have the Korean versions or the versions from Thailand, or are those VHSs about?
No, I've only ever seen. I've seen the Malaysian ones because my friend dubbed them. He dubbed them into Cantonese in Hong Kong, and I've seen mainland China booted ones, and I might have seen a cover of the Korean one. I can't remember, to be honest. I think I've seen the cover.
Okay. So those would be those
They'll
would
be the
be.
same quality. Yeah, I'm trying to find that boss. He's a very famous comedian. The man that produced it. He made quite a lot of video series, and he made some really good ones. And I'm trying to locate him this trip to see if he's got the masters.
Ah.
Yeah.
Because he had a Robert Tai horror that he made out. He made giant maggots out of sofas. And
Ah.
Best. That was the,
Now you're
Yeah.
talking.
it was fantastic. And
That's
then
the thing.
they did another one, Alexander Lowe, called The Nine Dragon Claws, which was a modern day with Pai Ying. And they did one with Chi Guan Shun called The Big Monk and a Little Hero.
Ah, yes,
And they did loads of them. But,
You mentioned the
so I'm
monk.
trying to find him.
You mentioned the monk hero one before as being particularly good.
It's very good, yeah. It's Tommy Lee's last work.
Ah.
And
So
it's
so
really good.
so the kind of 3-part video series thing. This wouldn't have been a weird Mafia vs Ninja only outlier. This was a fairly
No, there was
common
loads.
practice.
He did the Ninja Kids, remember that?
Oh,
he
yes.
did the
Kids,
Ninja
yeah,
Kids.
yeah.
And then we did another one with me and Eugene did another one for them called The Modern Ninja. And that was a 2 or 3-parter.
Wow.
Alexander Lowe's in that at the end, but only in a mask. William Yen's in it. A lot of famous Taiwan. Peter Chen was in it.
So
The star of them.
so does anyone have copies of them now?
I got that. Yeah, I got the masters in that.
Okay, all right.
But there was loads of videos. There's so many that we've lost. There's some really good video series. They're not good enough for telly, or they're too much action. But they're perfect for vid, and the shops were full of them. And now they're all gone.
What do you think of the chances? Like you were saying, you have a few, but do you think someone out there has them, or they're just landfill? Or?
Well, they got them in. We did another one. We got it from the guys who made Sakura Killer. Me and George Tan were in another one called The Shaolin Eagles, which was another brilliant series with a monkey man, from Monkey Kung Fu, Chan Wu Chuan.
Oh, wow.
And that was another 3-parter. Recently, I got a really bad copy from China of Part 2. I had Part 1, but Part 3 still eludes us. So there's loads of bits like that.
So it's probably out there. It's probably out there somewhere.
They're all out there somewhere,
Yeah.
China have a lot of this stuff, because China's so huge.
Yeah.
You got good luck finding that.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be buried in landfill in Tibet.
But that's the thing, I suppose, is that distribution is so, loose, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Asia, so it's difficult to kind of...
And Korea, that
find
guy in
stuff.
Korea turns up bits. There's a guy on Facebook. He sometimes finds some rare stuff. He recently found a really good Taiwanese series about gangsters. It's brilliant. I mean, it's just so mad.
Is that what's his name? Matthew?
Yes, yeah. That lad. He gets some good stuff. And he'll let me know. He goes, "I found this. What is it?" And it's quite exciting sometimes. He finds some good bits.
He does a YouTube series as well, right? The K-tapes, when he digs up.
Yes, he unearths bits. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's
That's
quite
right.
he's quite good at finding stuff, and
Yeah, he's excellent. Yeah.
and
excellent.
what's his name? James Marshall over in Thailand. He picks up.
Yeah,
he finds things now and
there's
again.
nothing. Yeah, he's a good friend.
Recording stopped.
Oh,
Oops.
What was that?
Something happened there.
yeah, I ran out of space on my.
Okay.
But this is still running, so
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
yeah.
You're sure there's battery in that, isn't
Yes,
there?
there's batteries. Don't worry.
Okay. Because we did the last podcast we lost the recording and we had to do it again.
It happens to me once. I interviewed some guy and what was it? I think it was John Garco, the Spaghetti Western actor. There's no sound on it. I was gutted. I was in his house. I've got it home and there's no sound on it.
Yeah.
Gutted.
Sartana.
Yeah.
So
we should probably talk about Mafia vs Ninja.
yes,
Yes,
well,
yeah.
I was just gonna so I think more or less we can get into the details, but more or less the story is kind of the same in both incarnations, right? So
yeah, more or less, yeah. Japanese.
Part 3 though. Part 3 is like
that's what mafia people come into it. The Chinese mafia guy, wasn't it Lucifer Lee? I can't remember really what his character was, but I remember him sort of taking over the main bad role.
Well, certainly overall, it's about Alexander Laurie rocking up in Shanghai in an indeterminate time period. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out when exactly, because some of the bikes and the
What's going to be
all of it very 1950s, but then some of the cars looked 80s. I was like,
it's supposed to be 1920s, 1930s, when the Japanese were there. So it's like Kung Fu Executioner, you know. Billy Chong's wearing a slim boy tie, which was 80s disco, but we all know it's supposed to be Shanghai 20s.
Yeah, and everyone's driving Ford Cortinas.
It's very similitude, isn't it? We just love him.
And he makes friends with Night Soilman Philip Saw.
Yeah, all that stuff's great. All them shoveling shit is fantastic.
That was his roommate actually in real life.
Really?
He's
a great acrobat, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a Taiwan gymnast, national team.
Yeah.
From the national team. He's great, that guy.
Yeah. So did he do Peking opera, or was he just gymnastics? Just gymnastics.
Yeah. He went to the some Olympics. He went. Was it Tokyo? I forget. He told me he went to one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's a really nice guy. He's clever.
Yeah, they're so comfortable with each other. Like it makes sense that they would be.
Yeah, they used to room. You'd go in there like when I went to their apartment. They're like brothers. You know, they had 2 beds and they had posters on the wall. They're like kids. And they stayed for a few months, and then I think one of them got married, and then Laurie got his apartment with Eugene, Lucifer Lee, and William Yen were all living in it.
That sounds like a cool place.
That was a mad apartment.
Yeah. And
he'd rent out Basher Kung Fu movies. They actually rent Bashers and watch. I really respected him for that.
That's cool.
So Laurie refuses to pay the protection racket fees, right?
Yeah.
And comes to the attention of the kind of benevolent Chinese
triad boss guy.
Wang Xie,
Wang Xia, wasn't it?
Yeah. And but he's got an underling, I think Wang Chi Sheng, who's a bit of a turncoat, and he teams up with the evil opium smuggling Japanese, as led by Tong Lung, who is Alexander Laurie's older brother, right?
Yes, correct.
Right. Because
he's an amazing looking guy. I was completely taken. I hadn't seen him before, but like that helmet of hair and those sideburns, he looked like Golgo 13, or he comes straight out of a Japanese. Like he looked like a Japanese mafia drawing come to life.
I'll tell you who he reminded me of. He reminded me of Paul Nashi.
Yeah.
They had that beefy,
that barrel-chested, man. He was. Yeah, he was amazing.
On the side,
he's actually a very lethal person. A very nice man, though. He's still alive, and hope to see him. But he's the real deal, that guy.
He looked it. Sorry.
No, he just looked at it. He completely convinced me that he could break my legs in a second.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, he told me. I said, how do what if you get trouble? Because I just put people on the curb normally. I'll spit their back on the curb. They don't move after that. That was his way of dealing with trouble.
But I read something somewhere that he'd gone away he signed up for the army, and then he came back, and then he didn't have any friends anymore or something, and then he had to start his life over again. I don't remember where I read that, but that's.
I didn't hear that, but.
Okay.
We just call them the Ray Brothers.
Yeah.
And they're just all he thinks about is kung fu. He ran a gym, Tong Lung, in Taiwan when I was here. And all the stars used to go there, like Blackie Cole was his good friend. Cam Kong came in there one day.
Wow.
And
Did Cam Kong come in and say, "I'll kill any blind man that"?
Yeah, but he spoke with a Texas. He speaks with it. He goes, "All right, how you doing?" Oh, he speaks with a Texas accent.
No.
He goes, "I'm running laundrettes out there in Texas." That's how he spoke. I couldn't believe it.
Cam Kong.
Yeah.
Ah.
Jackson drawl. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing. Although I've got to say, when I used to ring Clive up 20 years ago, when I used to ring Clive up, and Clive's wife used to answer the phone, Clive's Japanese wife does speak English with a Welsh accent.
Oh yes, she does. I can attest to this. When I went to the house, it's a bit
So
like
Clive's Japanese wife speaks like I do.
That's excellent.
I shall have to inform her of this fact.
And that is a huge compliment.
yes, it is. Yeah.
So speaking of Tong Lung, it was kind of interesting as well. He doesn't have anywhere near as many credits as his brother does, according to the Hong Kong Movie Database. Anyway, so I was wondering why he wasn't in more stuff.
He's quite difficult.
Ah, right.
I asked that to Low Ray. He goes, "He's quite difficult, my brother, as you've seen." He just does what he wants, really. You can't tell that bloke what to do because you just say, "Well, make me do it then." You know, he's one of those sort of people.
Is that why you got on so well with Robert Tai?
He didn't really like Robert Tai. He used to tease him all the time. He goes, "Oh, gang, he's a bit of a failure, isn't he?" He'd say stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
Wow, he sounds like
he's rubbish. He makes shitty films. He didn't care. He just.
I'm imagining Cam Kong entering frame right, going, "Nah, you leave that boy alone."
Wow. But yeah, that chair fight near the end is one of my favorite things in the
entire. Yeah, that is really good.
It's madness
with the rattan chair.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Chang chair, you said.
Yeah, it's good. Chair. I mean, that's just creative. Yeah, that is Chang chair, isn't it?
Yeah.
He goes along with it, even though he complains about it. But that guy's he is hard work. I mean, I've got a friend called Wayne Archer, and he nearly killed him with a meteor hammer. You know those meteor rope darts?
Oh, yeah.
And he flicked it at Wayne's head, and it was literally inches away like that. And Wayne just froze.
Wow.
His life flashed before him as the meteor was quickly pulled away just in time. And then he stuck needles in my arm. He goes, "I could leave that in there for weeks. If I get it wrong, he might die." Because he's an acupuncturist as well. And he'd just do horrible things like that.
And
he'd mug me as well. He goes, "You got any foreign currency on you?" I go, "Yeah, I got this £50." He goes, "I'll have that." And he put it at the glass. And he's a very wealthy man, this guy. He doesn't need films, believe me. I don't know what he does, but he changes his car every month.
Wow.
And he said to me, "We've got to live like peasants one day a week." He goes, "Let's go and get a turnip and roast it in that kettle and eat it." And that's the truth, man. He got a turnip and he put it in this pot, and we just had turnip soup out of a kettle. You've got to go back to basics. That's what he's great. I went to their house where they were brought up, and it was like on the beach. I mean, they literally are like a Basher family. They're really hard people. They lift logs, catch fish. They eat concrete. They're really tough. They're really hardcore, them two brothers. There's another brother, but he didn't do movies. I don't know what he did. Because we actually when we finished the Mafia series, he took the videos round to his mum. I remember that. In that house. It was something like, their house was like the one in the Trinity, the Trinity films, their mum.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of like their house, where their mum lived.
Wow.
I just think everybody eating big frying pans full of beans.
Yeah, a big wooden spoon crack around there. I put some Kungs, mum. I mean, it was incredible. They're really great family. Unique. They're unique. And they don't do interviews. That's the sad thing. They
No.
don't like. They don't like cameras. They'll turn those cameras off.
Private people.
Yeah, both brothers. They don't like to be interviewed.
That's a shame because a lot of
No.
because the stuff that Lo Ray in particular was choreographing, the action direction he was doing was really good.
Yeah, it's very.
You know, I mean, it's on Robert Tai level, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, you can see where he got it from.
I remember we were doing Mr. Legend. I got it on camera. And they were choreographing some sword stuff at the end, and then they halfway through it, they just threw it. Because they can't do this, and they threw the swords down. They just because let's go back to basics. It was so advanced, and then they realised that there was no way that Jet Li and the other guys could do what they just figured out.
Wow.
But I did capture that. It was quite a good moment.
Yeah, cool.
Because he is a very good choreographer.
Yeah, because he did. Am I right in saying he was doing Dada Connection? So he
did a lot. He did about 80% of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because the fights in that are like proper, aren't they?
Yeah, the end fight was good. He's great.
We'll have to talk Dada Connection one day.
Yeah.
So yes,
that's good because that's
the other thing we should definitely mention. So as well as all that, they bring in. So the drug dealing Japanese mafioso are also ninjas, or at least they have ninjas in their employ, or something along those lines. But still, they bring in Eugene Thomas or Eugene Trammell, Silvio Azzolini as a scarred knife thrower.
Yeah, right.
Yes, and is it Ching Kuo Chung as like a fat samurai guy, and
yeah, that's right.
And Alan Lan is the other one.
The Ninja Sonata boy,
yeah. So it's very it's very cartoonish, right? It's all kind of heightened, turned out.
It's manga. You probably saw a manga comic, and because he used to show me his manga comic, Ninja ones, and they had a lot of. I think I told you that last time, didn't I?
Yeah, we still can't find it.
I'm gonna try to go to his house and see if I can find it.
Oh,
yeah,
let
us know. Yeah, because that would be fast. Because we were also doing this other podcast about Shaw Brothers stuff, and the conversation came up. We were kind of trying to figure out, what the Rosetta Stone or the text of like 80s incarnation of 5-element ninja is, right? Like, where does that come from? Like, what's the source, And it's quite tricky to try and... Because, like, Nick, you were saying as well, there's a bit of it from, like, the Lone Wolf and Cub films and stuff.
Yeah, the burrowing ninja definitely, I think, come from one of the later, like... But it's like early 1970s, one of the Lone Wolf and Cub films has...
But that's, again, I think it's from manga originally, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yes.
Those Lone Wolf and Cubs are all manga.
Yeah, they were a comic first,
Yeah, the element stuff you see in Chang-Che. You see the 4-element warriors in like Deadly Duo. From when's that? 72.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So maybe it is Chang-Che that brought it together.
The script probably is, but the ninjas is just gimmicking, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not bothered about. I mean, he probably wasn't even there when they did the ninja bits.
No. Yeah, true. Yeah.
It probably is he probably said, let's just remake new Return of One-Armed Swordsman with Deadly Duo with ninjas. It's basically what it was.
Yeah.
But it works. Brilliant.
Well, something I noticed, right, when I was watching MAFIA vs Ninja was actually talking to Chang-Che, the influence of Chang-Che on some little bits of that. So you've got like that bit, haven't you? You've got that bit where they like the whole school like assaults the compound, the ninja compound, the Japanese compound, and then they like form this they link arms and like everyone just gets slaughtered. And that's like, that's classic Chang-Che. That's exactly the sort of thing Chang-Che would do.
Yeah.
I like all these kind of brutal deaths that Robert Tai used to like. It was like, there's a little bit of Che in there.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Toby?
Yeah, I'm sure there is influences there on those things.
It's just a shame
But I
they
think
don't
like
have
the linking arms, that's a very Chinese sort of thing to do, you know.
Right. It's a shame they don't have the budget. They don't have the budget though, so it's, you know, they don't have the
I don't think he could work with a budget, Robert Tai. I think it'd be bad. I think it'd go the other way. I think the more money you gave him, the worse. A bit like Jackie Chan, really. The more you give him, the worse his films get. You know, I think they work better when they got to use, like the chair. He wouldn't have done the chair if he had millions of dollars, but he had 20 quid in his pocket. He goes, go give me a chair. That's how he did it. No, that's how he really. When he was the legend, he had these basketballs. I said, what have you got those for? He goes, hey, you don't know because you're stupid. But you'll see in a couple of days what I'm going to do with these. And he covered them in leaves and they became bouncing ninjas.
Oh,
it cost him $10 and he's a you know, he's really clever like you can't. We were doing that thing with Rudy Ray Moore in America. It was never released, and he said, I'm going to get some props. I said, how much do you need? He goes, I'll give me $20. I go, it's like the equivalent of Woolworths. I'll get some props. And he came back with like a teleplastic telescope, a fishing rod. What are you going to do with that? He goes, you'll see. And he made some sort of telescopic antenna out of an umbrella. I was just mad.
Well, as we know, you have to live like a peasant one day a week as well, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I think money would have ruined Robert. I mean, that China film he did had a big budget. It's not better than any of his other films. If anything, it's worse. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a certain manic energy to, like, you know, it's just some clumps of grass being pulled along the lawn, suddenly turning into ninjas. I mean, that's kind of brilliant. And how much is that going to cost? You just need a fishing twine or something to pull it. Yeah,
it's nothing. Yeah, zero budget.
Yeah, and like, so Mafia vs Ninja. So, you know, because last time we were here talking about Robert Tai, we were talking about Ninja Final Duel, and this time we're talking about Mafia vs Ninja. And to me, Mafia vs Ninja's, you know, TV series and film, it's a lot more coherent. Do you know what I mean? It seems like there was a lot more of a plan.
Yeah, there was, because Mr. Lamb was more involved, and he's not going to let his cameras roll without a proper structured story. Whereas the other thing, Robert Tai was in total control, and the producer was a billionaire from Malaysia, didn't really care really.
Yeah.
So they just got out of control, and they could just spiral down into different directions.
Yeah, and we love it.
Yeah,
we
but they don't know.
love Ninja Final Duel.
Yeah, but it does have so many story arcs that they just became separate strands, really.
Right. So
that.
Yeah. So
Ray finding the art, the link between Shaolin and Ninja, or whatever, his brothers.
So that brings us to so we get to the video series, the 3-part video series, which runs about 4.5 hours all told. And
really, is it that long? I didn't realise.
Well, it's
three 1.5 hour movies.
Yeah,
basically.
It's 84 minutes, 87 minutes, 92 minutes. But then if you figure in the opening credits are like 5 minutes long. If you remove them, it's just over 4 hours, something like that.
Yeah, the sudden impact. That's great.
I love that.
Music.
Yeah.
But I noticed it's got a slightly, it's a different title, isn't it? It's not the same title as the title of the film.
It's different, yeah. Even the title of the movie has several titles. In Taiwan they called it Ying Wu Zhe, I think, and then they changed it again, and then they're different. They have different names.
What was it ever actually released anywhere in English as Secret of Ninja? Because that's a AKA they have on the Hong Kong video base.
It did. I think it came up on the Taiwan theatrical print that time.
Okay. So
but they didn't care what they wrote.
So this is mostly the same cast again, of course, with the exception of you turn up in this one.
Lucifer Lee.
Yes,
Alan Lee.
That's
He's
right.
Right, as the boss of the bad guy from the movie.
Yeah, he's sort of our boss.
Yeah, better tomorrow triad.
Yeah.
And you're sporting quite the impressive perm. In
it
this,
wasn't a perm. It was just some horrible locks. That's how they grow.
and the other fella,
a long fade. I had a long fade. They used to just grew like that.
And the other fellow, hang on, I'm blanking on the name. Mimo Gaspari, right? He's like your partner in crime in there.
Yeah.
Who's he then?
Yeah.
I couldn't find any.
No. He's very. He's John Leo's student.
Oh.
And
okay.
he's very good at kicking. He was in cinema. I saw him in like '82 in cinema, and I was like amazed because he was doing these like Lego things. And then he did a Shaw Brothers film called My Rebellious Son.
Oh, he's in that.
He's the fencing guy in there. You remember the fencing?
Okay.
And he dubbed 5 Element Ninjas. I think he's Lo Meng's voice. He's the lead's voice, I think. He dubbed a lot of Shaw Brothers. He dubbed Marshall Club. He dubbed a lot of Shaws. He's got quite a squeaky voice, but you know.
Okay. So, because you see his name and you think, oh, he's Italian.
He is Italian from Canada. Italian, Canadian. He's still here in Taiwan. He speaks and writes fluent Chinese. Like he writes better than Chinese.
Cool.
Yeah, he's proper. He's a real deal. So he speaks Chinese like a Chinese, basically.
Cool. Yeah, because
he can understand like the business on the news. You know, the hard work.
Yeah, because he was like the missing link. Because you can find stuff online about Eugene, and you can find stuff about Silvio, but you can't find anything about him online. You know.
Meanwhile, but he's been there really long. I mean, he's a John Lewis student, really good friend of John Ogalski, and another guy called Randy Channel. And it was in Dragon. They were both in Dragon Force of Bruce Lee, actually.
Oh.
It's funny because he's not credited with any of that stuff.
Yeah, well, they don't know, do they? But
that's HKMDB though. That's HKMDB.
I'll put it for them. I'll send over. I'll let them know if it's not on there. I'll put it. I can tell them to put it on.
Excellent.
I know them. Anyway, so Mimo came after Hong Kong. He came to live in Taiwan. He married a Taiwanese, and he was teaching English. And I wanted to meet him. So he wasn't in. So I met him, and he wasn't really doing movies, and I got him back into the movies. I got him the job on Sakura Killers. He was the assistant director on that, and I got him a job on that one I told you about. Me and George Tam were in, called the Shaolin Eagles, and then I got him on Mafia v Ninja. So he did, and then he did. I think he did Ninja USA with Alexander Lowe. He did Ninja Condors, I think, with them. And then he went and directed a film for IFD called Dragon Combo. And after that, I'm not sure what. I met him once in the street after that. I don't know what he did after that. I met him once in the street about 10 years ago. I haven't seen him since.
He directed something called
Facebook.
He directed something called Dragon Combo, you said?
Yeah, it's an IFD movie.
Okay. I'm not familiar
with Ken
that.
Boyle. It's a shame that they did that one, because they had a film called Mad Rose, which was really good, Taiwan black film, and they cut all the good bit. They cut it out and lost those parts of the negative now. And they got Ken Boyle instead of Louis Chan. I know I'd sooner look at, but still.
So is Mad Rose in its original form? Is that lost? Is it?
Mad Rose? No, I've got the negative, but because they made the Guilo parts, they've cut some parts out, and I can't. it's not complete. I've got the VHS complete, but not the whole negative. And it's a good movie. It's got really good cast.
There's a lot of those.
Taiwan black movies are good. I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like we said earlier, it's a shame that they don't give a shit about their own film history, because those Taiwan black movies are the ones that you can still see are fascinating.
Yeah, they're excellent.
And
it's really unique looking to culture, don't it?
Yeah, and some of them only seem to exist in, like you said, the IFD versions, right? So
yeah.
But
luckily he kept some full, but some he cut up. God knows why you'd throw a film away in it just makes no sense.
It's a bit short-sighted. I suppose they thought there's no value in it, right? There's no one's interested.
Yeah, again, there we go. Yeah, there's no value.
Yeah,
but let's not forget the wonderful minds at the BBC who tossed all those Doctor Who episodes, which now any one of those would command astronomical prices if they show up on the black market, right? But
yeah,
this happens, right?
So the strange thing. So what the TV version of MAFIA vs. The video version of MAFIA vs. Ninja.
Yeah.
When you're watching it, it's quite interesting. I mean, there's a few interesting things, but one thing that really fascinates me is, unless you do a side-by-side comparison, you'd assume some of the footage is just lifted from the film, right? And I think there's a few instances here and there where that is the case, like when
quite a bit.
Yeah, when Eugene and Silvio turn up and they show off their skills, and I think that stuff's lifted. But then there are other scenes, if you actually compare them, they're just shot almost exactly the same as in the film version. But it's new footage because it's ever so slightly different. But they've clearly refilmed a lot of the stuff, right? Which is interesting.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, because I remember Eugene's bit. He was news footage. They wouldn't redo it again. Not the fighting.
So that's because
there's new fighting when he's got that.
Right.
He's running in those mountains, like a mountain somewhere, and he's got a tracksuit on.
Yes.
While that's all new footage. That's not in the movie. I remember that.
Yeah. While a weird orchestral Muzak version of "Whole Lotta Love" plays on the soundtrack.
Yes. That's what that was. The whole time I was mad because I kept wanting to say the lyrics, but I wasn't coming to my. Yeah. That's what. Thank you. Like a disco kind of
But some of, like, for instance, there's another fascinating bit, because it's many years later, the Hong Kong film Election was quite controversial because they were showing like some of the initiation rites into like becoming a triad or whatever. And and there's some stuff at the beginning of the video version of Mafia, very extended.
It goes on quite a while.
Yeah, with like
he studied that. Robert Tai. He had to do a film for first films called Clan of Righteousness. He's not credited on it, but he was the action director, and it was all about gang signs.
Oh, okay.
So in Fist of Legend, have you seen Fist of Legend 2, the one we did?
Yeah.
Do you remember there's a scene with teapots, and when he meets Robert Tai and he puts the cups? Well, that's all from a book. I went with him to the shop. We bought this book on the Qing Dynasty gang signs from the Hong Mun, the Red Door. And those were all real guys, and quite an expert at that, Robert Tai.
Cool.
So that's authentic.
Yeah, it's all authentic moves. And they still, Meng Fei is very into that. If you see Meng Fei, if you follow him on Facebook, you'll often see him doing those. He does all those gang signs over the, he knows all that stuff.
Huh.
Oh, cool. It's interesting. It's interesting.
It is good. It's really good.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that if he's got that kind of interest, with, Better Tomorrow and all the kind of gung fu stuff, that he kind of never moved into that?
They wanted him to, but people said in Hong Kong, if you bring him here, you're all finished. Because Troy Hark said we should employ that guy. He's really good. And they said, well, if you bring him, you'll be out of work.
That's crazy.
So they just took Alan Lan instead, and he knew all the moves. So they just robbed Alan Lan, and that's how it went. And Alan Sue, because they knew all the secrets.
But so about the footage. So for instance, at the beginning of that scene, Robert Tai turns up, right, and he does the thing with the spear and all that. But it's definitely longer here, and so did they? Yeah,
there is more there. I think you're right. It is longer, but that could have been originally longer anyway.
So you think it might have been using like stuff that hadn't been used for the film that was on the cutting room
floor? I'll have to look at it again to be sure. But because he had when we did the movie, his hair wasn't like it is when we shot that. When they shot the original one,
right.
He had sort of it was getting a bit permed, or I don't know. It wasn't like that, like it is in that film. So if his hair looks like it does in the movie, then they shot that then.
Because there's another few bits as well, like the fight when the Night Soul guys and the big fight erupts and all that. Like again, it's almost. But if you look at it, it's like slightly framed, slightly different, and there's it's interesting to try and figure out. But I'm obviously
just planned it differently. I'm still not sure of the original ratio of the movie. I think it was shot in 1:8:5, not the typical cinema scope. I think it was a 1:8:5 film anyway.
And could it be alternate takes as well? I mean, I've seen movies where like there was and funny, there's a version of Dawn of the Dead that's almost made up entirely of alternate takes of the one that I'm familiar with. And I think it was done for, I think it was the one that Dario Argento edited rather than George Romero. But that's funny that I bring up Dawn of the Dead, because that's one of the most striking things about this TV series to me, is that the soundtrack, Goblin soundtrack to Dawn of the Dead, blares over the top of multiple scenes in the video version, the 3-part video version, which is a bit distracting if, like me, you've seen that movie millions of times, and it has a very specific connotation of zombies. And then, over that whole opening kind of initiation to the triads, they're blasting Dawn of the Dead.
That's right.
In fact, so loud that you can't hear the dialogue. Which is a strange choice. I don't know if that's something to do with. Is that how it was originally? Like if you picked up the video.
A guy called Charles Wing did that. So he's pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know. This Wing just thought I'll do it like that.
Yeah, it's an odd. I don't know if it is a choice or if it's like something to do when they recorded whenever.
It may be a mistake. Yeah, maybe when they made the tape masters.
I mean, it's all subtitles. If I could have read the subtitles, it wouldn't have been a problem. But obviously, I can't. So.
Yeah. But you don't need them, though. I mean, the series. I mean, you know exactly what's going on, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's straight. It's for me, it was straightforward stuff.
One of the only things that I missed from the movie when it was transferred into the TV series, I guess, was that in the movie at the very beginning, when our two heroes meet, it's because Charlie just starts yelling, "Hey, rapist!" and then he attacks Alex, and they have this fight in the thing, and then it's like a misunderstanding, and that's entirely absent from. I can't remember how, but they've a totally different way of becoming friends in the TV version, in the video version. But I quite like that weird scene of them suddenly like coming to blows because he's been misunderstood as being a back-alley rapist. So,
but then you get the same scene repeated, don't you? Where Laurie is saving Silver. Can't remember her name. Silver from the fallen host, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's she? Is she in anything else or?
That girl, no, she's from Peking Opera School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She had a much bigger part in the movie because she turns out to she's kind of purple ninja.
Oh no, sorry, no, that girl. Yeah, that was her only movie. I thought there's another girl in the series.
Yes, in the video series, she shows up right at the end and becomes
the second girlfriend.
That girl in the movie, that was her only movie, and I think she may have done one other movie. But
She's quite good. She's quite good. She adapts.
I think they just advertised her in the papers. I think I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a bit more business. There's a bit more sexy business between her and Eugene in the video series version,
that's right?
And there's a whole thing with Philip Saw disguising himself as a Japanese and going out into the woods and English.
Oh yes.
And
speaking Japanese, I was surprised because I do understand a bit more of that. So I was
that was good.
Japanese.
I remember
because that death is cool. That fight with Eugene and Lorraine and Philip, that's like
that is good.
That's proper. But then it's such a surprise to see it reshot. You know, with him getting like killed on the tree.
Yeah,
him getting killed on like the tree, same as Lorraine's brother on the chair. You know, it's like crack in the neck.
And Toby, I did like that you got to do a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing, where your dead body was propped up against the tree to make it look like you were still alive for that. Like the last time we see you, you're like leaning against the tree, dead.
That reminded me of a western, actually, rather than a kung fu film.
Did you mention?
Yeah. So was it a total blast for you? Like, was it a total? So, you've turned up in Taiwan.
Yeah, it was a blast, but I didn't think it. I couldn't move for weeks. Really, I couldn't.
Just after the intro sequence.
We did that last, but I think after doing all those moves and that, I couldn't move. It's so tiring. It's not like you think. And that the same thing happened to Van Damage. What's his name? That Todd Sonafont when we did Fist of Legend.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't move the next day. He goes, "This isn't like working on Van Damme. I can't move."
Because what's the score? Is it like 8 hours a day of?
It's
moves?
so intense. You can't believe it. It must be like what athletes do every day. I mean, if you're not used to it, they knew it. They laughed. And when we did the next one, we were ready for it. It was much easier, but that was a nightmare.
So the adrenaline just gets you through, I guess, and then
you don't notice it as you're doing it. Yeah, you're right. And then the next day you're finished. So you can't move.
So just for context, like you weren't just you'd had some training, right, in certain
a bit, yeah,
and so you weren't like totally just going from couch potato to being forced to do certain things. But so that's the interesting thing is you were you're fit and you kind of
Well, look, Van Damage he's a body. Have you ever seen? Did you see that kid in Fist of Legend? He looks good, right? But he was completely shattered, and he's done hundreds of films with Van Damme, hundreds of hours, I should say. Doubling him, kicking, running. He said that's nothing. All that is less than 1 day of this. And imagine Jackie Chan doing like Drunken Master, where he's going full pelt.
Wow.
How fit that in that Hong Kong heat against Wang Jingli. That you realise how fit those guys really are. And people don't appreciate it unless you've really done it. It's not like Hollywood or.
No, because that's Peking opera, isn't it? So that's Peking or Taiwan opera, isn't it? And that's just torture for years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's torture. It is, but to do it in the heat is the worst. I mean, I guess they train in the heat,
Yeah.
For them, it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. And also, they learn not to when to use power, when not to use power, so they can conserve energy. And they learn it. It's part of their trade. But if you're new to it, you're going to suffer. 100%. Doesn't matter who you could be the fit. Even like if you're not used to it, even if you're fit, you can't do it. Like that guy was fit, Todd. He's a gymnast. He's a bodybuilder. He's Van Damme stuff. He goes to the gym every day. He was destroyed after one day. He's like, I can't do this. You got to leave in a couple of days. And credit to him, he pulled through. But
what kind of length of shoot was it then, if you remember?
We'd have to be ready by 7 at the office, and he'd start cameras at 8 and go on till about 6. So it was a long day. Short lunches, half an hour.
Yeah.
But it was a really good atmosphere. Everyone was like, you know, they love being on his sets. People don't come to work for nothing. Some of them.
Was that all around Taipei, or is that where you shot it?
Yeah, it's all Taipei. Yeah,
right.
It was all around.
Did he recruit any people from McDonald's this time? Or
for that one, he didn't need to. It was all very, very small crew. Everyone, they're all his buddies. There was no outsiders. He knew everyone except that girl from the Peking Opera girl. She didn't do anything anyway. I don't know what. They just needed a face.
Do you remember how long, like, the whole thing took? Was it like a couple of weeks, a couple of months?
A couple of weeks, yeah.
A couple of weeks. Wow. And then obviously counterbalancing, like you were saying, fuck me, I can't move. This is.
Yeah.
But obviously, on the other hand, it must have been. That was your peek behind the curtain, like you were a super fan.
Oh yeah, the first day when I saw them, they were doing that photo with Eugene. I was like, because I've been to Hong Kong and watched Jackie Chan, but the way they shoot is very. It wasn't like kung fu anymore. It was like short bursts, ba ba ba, cut, ba ba ba. So you didn't see anything really, unless he was practicing on his own. And then you see Jack, but watching Robert choreograph was like that was like in heaven, because it was like the Shaw Brothers stuff. You know, it was like in front of your eyes. They're doing, you know, long, protracted sequences, and it's like, wow, this is better than looking at. This is better than they are on screen. It's like incredible. And then you see Alan Land doing these flips. He's like did a full in back out somersault off a trampoline, and he hit the deck. I said, how could he even do that? And I'd never seen that before, that kind of thing. You know. So Robert Tai, that was shit, do it again. And I said, what are you, man, fantastic. That was terrible. I want him much higher in the air than that. I said, he'll kill himself. And they said, you don't know.
Because Nick actually put us on. Nick found an interview online with Eugene.
Yeah. Just last year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying, like, that some people were, like, guarding, like, you know, being a bit secretive about their moves and about their kind of, you know, their techniques on set. Did you see any of that? Was it like...
No, I didn't see any of that. Maybe for him, because he may have met, when they did it, there may have been more kung fu guys, because there were sometimes they did encounter kung fu guys on certain films, not on Robert Tai films. And because Lo Ray, he just mocks it, you know. He's like, what are you talking about, kung fu? I remember Steve Tartaglia said to him, yeah, I know Ying Jiao Pie, you know, which means eagle claw. And Lo Ray goes, yeah, I know apple pie. You know, he just made fun of it all the time. You know, he said, don't take it seriously, you know, it's nothing. You know. So I never saw that on Robert Sep. On other sets, you get people saying, I ain't showing him my, you know, crane fist. I've seen that.
But that's more like a martial arts thing rather than a choreography.
Yeah, there's no martial arts really doesn't enter Robert Tai's world. It's just madness.
Yes, opera,
flips and shapes. It's like, what do you want to do? Eagle. I say, other eagle is all right. Eagle, then you make it up. You know, I've never learned eagle for my life. I just watched Wong Ching Lee doing that. And he said, right, you're an eagle then, because he's good at kicking, so we'll do kicking. That was it.
It sounds It sounds.
He really doesn't care.
It sounds so in a way though. It sounds so intense that that you almost don't have time to think. Fuck me, I'm totally out of my depth here. It sounds like you just got through it, right? And then, like you said, you just couldn't move at the end, and then it's done.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's Robert Tai. The way he handles people is really unique. I mean, there's people I've seen, they couldn't do it. I mean, literally, they could barely walk. And he had them doing flips and stuff. And he's just an amazing person. He's like a great manager of a football. He's like Brian Clough or something. He can just make people do things that they thought they couldn't do. He won't hear no. It's like, haven't you? You know, it's like... he gets people to do it, and willingly, you know.
He sounds like a mixture of, like you say, Brian Clough, but like also like Jim Jones or like Svengali or something like that. Like,
Well, he is, yes, he is. He's a Svengali type. I mean, he's known throughout the industry, even in Hong Kong. Now, that guy, yeah, he's like, yeah. It's big guns, like, because he used to teach all the TVB actors how to do, like Andy Lau, and he taught all them how to do flips and fall down, and you know, he's got millions of students.
So much of it was shot outside. How did they keep people from wandering onto set? I mean, it wasn't, you know, like, how did you create a closed?
What do you mean?
Just because it's like so much of it seemed to be shot outside. I just wonder about in parks or, you know, how did you make sure? Yeah, so how did you make sure random people didn't wander by?
They would always have a look all the time. They'd wander on and have a look and wander off. And he'd have his dogs there and they'd run about. And one day it didn't come back. And he like, Snake's got it. I said, aren't you going to look? He goes, Snake's got it, let's go. You know, he just didn't care. Just amazing. I said, I thought you were really fond of that dog. He goes, yeah, well, whatever, you know. I'll get another one. You know?
So there was a couple of bits, right? There was a couple of bits in the TV version, not the film version, the TV version.
Video version.
Where, the video version. Video version.
Yeah.
Where I convinced myself, right, and tell me if I'm wrong, I convinced myself that Robert Tai was taking the piss out of Ching Siu Tung. It's like in part 3, they've got you in like force perspective, like a giant.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another bit with the like the you know, like the secret, you know, ninja being kicked into space thing.
Yeah, that's his favourite thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was thinking, are you ripping the piss out of Duel to the Death?
Well, I think that came out because he always said that Chen Siu Tung stole his ideas. So I'm not sure about it. But he used to say, "Oh, that guy nicked my stuff again. Look, yeah, that's mine. That's mine." Yeah. So I don't know about it.
Yeah, maybe it's not know about it. That's why I saw it. You know.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't steal the guy's stuff. He's not. He don't care.
No, I mean taking the piss like a
I don't know.
Piss stick. Yeah.
I'm not sure. He just thought I was taller and that guy's really small, because he is small. That Charlemagne he's only about 4'11".
Wow.
He is stumpy, you know. He's stumpy, isn't he? From the
yeah.
So he's tiny.
Yeah, but everyone's tiny compared to you, Toby. You're like 6'6" or something.
Yeah, but he doubled Sylvia Chang in the Aces Go Places film.
Is that right?
That's how small. Yeah, he's a good friend of Eric Chang's, isn't he? So he's proper small, but he's really good.
So what are the? I mean, just to kind of wind it up a little. What's the current state of? So obviously, Mafia vs Ninja is about the film version as an English dub, and I don't think it's ever. I don't think there's anything other than a kind of upgraded VHS quality DVD. What? I mean, do the elements still exist, like Masters?
Warner Brothers own that film now.
But are the elements, like, if they so wished?
Yeah, they've got the negative. Yes.
So there could be a HD one day of.
Yeah, they might release it. Yeah, we could well do that.
What? It's not worth their time, or.
Nah, Warners are like that. They don't care.
I think it's coming. Like it's like you see lots of whispers about like Pedicab Driver and you know maybe Warner.
Those are if it's Warner Brothers, then they'll put it in Asia TV or whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
Because they used to have.
They bought a lot of Lam Tin Hung's films like Kung Fu Mission, Shaolin X Month, Boxer's Adventure. They bought a few, and they bought that one.
They used to
just the film version, not the
film, not the telly.
The
telly.
Yeah.
They used to have the Warner Archive thing, right, where you could like ask for like discs on demand and stuff like that. But,
but these films you won't get like that. Until they did show next month, I think, on American cable sometime back, or Sony or something like that. They had a really good pristine HD one, but no one got it.
How about
they missed it?
Mafia vs Ninja? Has that ever been broadcast?
No, not that I know of. No. Or Kung Fu Mission, which is another classic.
Mm.
And then, as for the video series, that's just languishing.
That's just
yeah,
it's just gone. Hopefully, I can find that guy, but I'm not holding too much hope on that. And even then, you may not be able to release it because Warner will say, "Well, we own that other footage, so what are you going to do?"
Yeah.
It's just a difficult one.
Well, I think anyone who's been listening to this, top of their list of things we hope you find is the sofas as giant maggots Robert Tai horror film.
Yep.
I think that's
that was great, the maggots.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because this is it. Is that all we've got to go on, for Robert Tai is HKMDB, right? And there's like 8 films, something like that on there. And you just mentioned a load we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of TV. He's done a lot of TV here.
Yeah.
Loads. He had one TV with a real tiger in it. He goes, "I got it to chase me in a car." Jesus. And he's filming this tiger biting at it. It's mad.
He's biting the fender.
Yeah, he's got to add that really. There's a Wu song, the Tiger Killer. They were doing a TV of it.
Oh, so
are you writing these stories down, Toby? Because these should be preserved. You need to either write them down yourself or get a ghostwriter or something and get these down before they disappear. Because these are brilliant stories.
Oh, maybe one day.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, Toby, being generous with your time.
Pleasure. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, great stories as always.
Yeah.
Toby.
Enjoy your
awesome stuff.
Enjoy your time in Taiwan, and we shall speak again.
All right. Bye.
All right. See you, Toby.
See you soon, Toby.
Right. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
That was fun, wasn't it, lads? That was a nice.
That was good, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Love that. Toby.
So, anything we didn't mention that we want to talk about either versions of Mafia vs Ninja, then, lads?
I mean, something that occurred to me, kind of, as I was digesting it in the couple of days before we spoke to Toby and we recorded this, was any one of these fights, right? So any of the fights where someone dies, or any of the like the even the incidental kind of bar fights, right? In any other film, in any other kung fu film, right? In the whole of the kung fu corpus of films, could have been a final fight, right? Could have been the end of Dragons Forever, right? It is that quality. Okay, we're watching it on video. Okay, you know, sometimes there's a bit of shaky camera, and you can tell that there's strings because he didn't have any money to make the film. But in terms of just simply the visual, simply the skill on display, and how Robert Tai choreographs action, any fight in this film is the big final fight between, I don't know, you know, Sammo and Yinhua in Eastern Condors, or you know, Wang Yu and Kam Kong, or Donnie Yen and whoever the newest villain of the Ip Man films are, you know.
Don't forget Donald Sinden versus Windsor Davis as well.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I was keeping that. I thought you'd want to mention that one.
Well, that fight where they, you know, the vase almost falls over and smashes.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And the Toby jug. Jug
in that last rarely seen unbroadcast episode of Never the Twain that only the hardcore have seen.
Yeah. We're lucky in that.
Which I think Robert Tai did the choreography. I think
we're selling it £25 a download.
Yeah.
Contact us. Yeah.
But so I have a slightly different takeaway from. Well, actually, one thing I wanted to mention first, a corrective, and I wanted to say that Toby was quite right there. So, they did reuse footage from the film. They didn't reshoot things as I thought. But it's easy to see why, because I did go back and watch them side by side, and what seems to be the case is, number one, the quality is so different that they look like different scenes. Like the difference in quality is so different that they look like they've just reshot it, but they haven't reshot it. It's just a matter of the actual quality of the transfer. Plus, occasionally, I think they might have they either used alternative takes of certain scenes, or they've done that trick of zooming inside the image like they do when they do pan and scan. But there's like a few scenes that play out the same, but suddenly it zooms in one version and not on the other one. But yes, they didn't reshoot stuff. All the scenes that are in both the film and the TV and the video series have been taken wholesale from the film. So I wanted to mention that. But the other thing I wanted to say was when we watched Ninja the Final Duel, the film version, and then we went and we watched the whole thing, even though we didn't have a clue what the fuck was going on. That kind of was a revelation and was definitely worth doing. And watching the entirety of Ninja the Final Duel was an education and totally worthwhile. And I can even see myself maybe potentially doing it again one day. Like I feel as if a whole new side of it was revealed, right? But watching Mafia vs Ninja, the video series, I didn't necessarily. Obviously, there's a whole shitload more in it, but I didn't feel as if I'd seen anything that I hadn't gotten from the film. I didn't feel like, oh, this Mafia vs Ninja is oh my god, it's a whole new cornucopia of goodies. I'm so glad I saw I am glad, but I didn't really feel as if it was a revelation in the way that Ninja's Final Duel was. And Darren's smirking.
Would we have gotten...
I completely disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
But I want to give Nick the opportunity to comment.
I was going to say, would we have gotten Big Toby and Little Toby if we just watched the movie? I feel like
there
we wouldn't
be any
right?
Toby in the
yeah.
No, that's true.
So, and then we also wouldn't have gotten the other boss, right? The actual boss of bosses. And
don't get me wrong, I'm glad I saw it, and there's bits that, and there isn't a snake versus a mongoose in the film either. So there's a lot of, and another that we had seen where that girl tries to seduce Eugene, and there's a lot of stuff that is in there. But what I mean is, it feels a bit like the full version of Ninja the Final Duel is a totally different beast to Ninja the Final Duel feature. And I think Mafia vs Ninja you get all you need. You get the main thrust of Mafia vs Ninja from the film, and the video version is extended fun for fans. But I don't necessarily think you're getting anything additional of real merit or worth or like that isn't included in the film version in Mafia vs Ninja, I think is what I'm trying to say. Do you still disagree with that, Dan?
Yes and no. I think that yeah, absolutely. Mafia vs Ninja stands up entirely on its own as a film. Right? Makes complete sense. Nothing wrong with it. The good scenes that are in there, like the chair fight at the end with the burrowing ninjas, all the good stuff in there, you know, the various sort of guilo fights. But if you're comparing Ninja Final Duel to Mafia vs Ninja, right? And I fucking adore Ninja Final Duel as much as you do, Clive. But it is an incoherent mess with some really fucking good fights and some blood and guts and some of the most imaginative choreography ever put on.
Are you talking the full version or are you talking the film?
No, I'm talking the full version.
Well, I would just counter slightly that it's slightly unfair because we didn't understand what was happening through a lot of it. So we don't know if it's a mess. It might make sense.
I think Toby told us it was, though.
Yeah,
but he also
I feel like Toby was pretty clear.
He also admitted that he'd never watched the whole thing. So
true.
Fair enough.
True. But sorry, what I'm doing is I'm just actually quickly looking through my notes.
I'm not disagreeing with you. You might be entirely right that it is a mess as well. But even if it is a mess, I still, and plus as well, it's
great.
It's unfair to compare the two as well, just because Mafia vs Ninja was made as a film, and then the video series was made as a video series. Whereas Ninja: The Final Duel, from what I could understand, was made as a video series from the get-go, and the film is like a side product, but it wasn't necessarily meant to be a 90s video. So
but even without any subtitles, which is how we watched it, the full series, it's completely coherent. Pretty much. You know? Mafia vs Ninja, a lot of the time you don't know what's going on because a lot of the same characters appear and you don't know if it's the same timeline and all that malarkey, right? And it's fucking wonderful. But the things that are missing from the film Mafia vs Ninja, I'm thinking in particular of like the really good extra colour on the triad initiation thing.
Oh, that's true. That's one element. Yes,
I'm thinking of the alternative fight between Eugene and Lorray, which is much better. I don't know why they didn't use that instead.
And let's not forget Eugene running about to a music version of Whole Lot of Love.
Yep.
That's in.
Yeah. I'm with you that I think the third part, so the final part with the new boss, and I love the bit with the new girlfriend with what's his name, Charlie. I love that bit.
And Ychyfus isn't in the film, right? Like you said.
Yeah. But it's completely tacked on. That does feel completely unnecessary and tacked on. So I think maybe it might have been better as a 2-part series, not a 3-part series.
Right.
But I think the stuff that's, I think I would love to see the ideal. I think the ideal way to watch Mafia vs Ninja is on a Blu-ray special edition, which I know we'll never get, but as a film, optional extras. Yeah, either the whole series or
that triad stuff is great. And exactly, as Toby pointed out, something that Robert Tai knew what the fuck he was talking about.
But also, you're missing out on Robert Tai going through the legendary weapons of China against.
Yeah, well, you get a little bit of it. You get a little bit.
Yeah. But that's Yeah.
The other thing missing from the film is it doesn't open with an incredibly loud sound of someone removing sellotape from something.
No, that's Lorraine's muscles flexing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's sellotape.
It,
Yeah. And actually, I don't know why they didn't keep that as the intro to the film. That's such an old school, but yet somehow hip hop opener.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good. What is it? 4 minutes long or something? That intro.
Yeah, it's about 4 or 5 minutes long. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I I think it functions really well, and I think it goes into the corpus of Robert Tai's good films and very coherent films. But I just all that extra stuff is, you're robbed of it if you only watch the 90-minute version.
Any thoughts, Nick, on that?
I mean, I do agree. I think the last quarter or whatever you would say, like basically post where the movie ends, doesn't seem as. Although I enjoyed Toby and whoever the other guy was. Should remember the name. We talked about him, but I don't. Yeah. But it didn't seem absolutely necessary. But I did enjoy the expanded pace, like just that the scenes were allowed to breathe, and I enjoyed, as I said, Silvio and Eugene's second fights were great. The only thing that I disagreed with was I would have liked to have seen more of the ninja lady, who seems to play a much bigger role in the movie, and then you would have thought, but maybe they couldn't get her back.
Right. Right.
She doesn't. We don't get her final fight where she's in her purple ninja suit and all that stuff. But one thing I didn't talk about
agency in the video version, right?
Yeah, way less. And then what I never brought up when we were talking to Toby, and I wanted to, I forgot to, was, although he wasn't necessarily there for the shooting of that scene, but like there's the scene where they go into the kind of hoity-toity white people's club.
Oh yes,
and there's the whole like interaction.
Well, that's from the film, so he wouldn't have been.
It is from the film, yes. It would have been made before. So I was just wondering, like, where they cobbled together all those very early '80s looking white people, which I'm guessing this is supposed to be. He did tell us this is supposed to be during the Japanese occupation. Right. So
it's just in Robert Tai's
imagination. Yeah. But I love that whole scene.
They're Ford Cortinas and jeans and t-shirts.
Right. I love that whole scene of like slightly heavy set white people being hooked across the room, bouncing off of tables. And then what I was wondering is the scene right after that, which is I don't think it's in the movie, I think it's just in the TV series, where we cut back to who is Alexander's friend, his buddy, who's also in Ninja Final 2.
Simon Yu-Yan something.
I don't have my MAFIA vs. notes.
I don't have my notes, sorry.
That fella does this whole thing where he starts mocking in English those characters of doing like, oh my god, help me. It's like there's a few moments where he also does some Japanese also in that version as well, where he shows up and starts exercising with them and counting, and I think he says good morning or whatever. But anyway, that made me laugh because it's he was like doing them.
So I know your time is limited, Nick. So one thing I slightly want to dwell on from that conversation, which I think is worth. I mean, just because it is something that I know I haven't had a chance to do it yet because I've had a busy week or so since we talked. But certainly something like, I mean, I can't let it go. It's something once I've opened that box, I can't forget. As futile as it might be, let's talk a little bit about
back to couch maggots here. Well,
not just that, just this whole idea, because I had always assumed that this and Ninja Final Duel were a little bit outliers, but no. It seems as if there was a cottage industry of multi-part direct-to-video series. Some of which, I mean, just Robert Tai alone, according to Toby, made quite a few with them, right? And he named some, and even allowing for, maybe a passage of time, maybe some, he may be misremembering some of the titles. The thing is, we wouldn't know because we might not be able, even if he had the title bang on, how are you going to search for that? And probably we need the original Mandarin titles as well to try and search for them, right? But this whole notion is just amazing to me, and also not just in terms of rare. Oh my God, there's a new treasure trove to go hunting for. It's fascinating to me that because I don't think this was a business model that we had, for instance, in the UK. Like you went to the video shop and you rented a film, right?
Mm-hmm.
And until maybe later,
or you might have a TV. You might rent a TV series, 3 episodes of a TV series.
Yeah.
That had already been on TV.
Yeah. Or maybe later on, you would have had like some of those miniseries Stephen King adaptations would have come in double take.
Oh yeah, like The Langley Years or something. Yeah.
But this is certainly not a business model that we had. That someone would put out an original. We had direct-to-video stuff, obviously, but direct-to-video series, and I was interesting. Like, what would be the common Taiwanese hunter's way of going about it? Would it be, oh, let's just rent all 3 at the same time, or would people have rented 1 at a time and we don't like this, so we won't bother? Or would it have been frustrating because you'd have gone to the video shop and it had part 1 and part 3, but someone had rented part 2? Or just this whole thing, I just kind of found fascinating because it's not part of our video shop culture, right? And
that's why we need to do a Taiwan road trip.
Oh man,
road trip.
If I had the resources, I would be fully up. Going over and just fucking hitting the road.
Might want to do that fast, guys. Might want to do that fast.
Provinces for moldy old tapes, and then
which Toby's already told us just aren't anywhere,
or people refuse to sell them to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
But, if there are any wealthy benefactors who may also wish to work as translators for us, then please do get in touch, and we will on your behalf go to Taiwan and search all the avenues we possibly can. And
I wanted to know how you both felt about this, or whether I was making a mountain out of a
no.
I'm for me, this has been an epiphany, and I'm like, right, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but and if you can find them, you can hire the A-team. But this isn't leaving my mind. This is going to be at the back of my mind probably until I'm in my coffin, right? I need to track this stuff down.
Yeah, but the problem is doing it, because we asked Toby, where is it?
Yeah,
and Toby has said fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
So we're in a bit of trouble to begin with, but very, very, very much up for the challenge. Yeah, I'm way up for looking for that stuff.
Yeah, that has just blown my mind, because it's a new, like, I knew there was rare things out there, but I didn't know about this particular space. I didn't know these things existed, right?
Yeah, because it's not even if it was a fad for a year, there'd still be 200.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So it's as if somebody suddenly told you that, oh yeah, didn't you know about, there's 5 unreleased Confessions films that Robin Asquith made, or it's just a whole thing you didn't know existed.
Well, it's not even that. It's like someone telling you, "Oh, did you know there was a studio other than Shaw Brothers?"
Yeah.
It's that magnitude, isn't it? It's like, oh, hang on. So that's not.
There's a really rare hardcore version of Clueless that ends in a bukkake scene. It's just, you just didn't know. You just didn't know.
So but again, I'm skeptical what we'll find. But if anyone wants to sling us stuff,
oh man, any info is eagerly devoured. Send it our way, because we need to know more about this. We are dogs with bones. We're not letting this one go.
Taiwan video series, give us the info.
Yeah.
Do you think they have church car boot sales in Taiwan?
I mean,
it would depend on the amount of churches, really, wouldn't it?
Okay. It seems like the place to go would be the trunk of somebody's car.
Yeah, well, like you said, I would be up for a proper scavenger hunt. It's just, the resources required to do, and you know, like we said, we would be blundering around. Toby has a kind of idea of where to look, and even he seems to be, you know, coming up somewhat empty-handed.
But you know what's frustrating is the thought that, for example, I'm thinking now back in when I lived in Victoria, British Columbia, the whole west coast of Canada and the US had all of these Chinese-only video stores, right? Which I would regularly go into and be faced by terrifying walls of stuff that I had no idea what the hell it was. And it may be here. It may be in, some of the stuff may be in Canada in people's boxes and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
Could be anywhere.
Yeah. So I suppose, I mean, my friend Tavis was quite an avid renter and copier of stuff in those days, and some of it had subs, some of it didn't. But that's where I saw things like a lot of the category 3s. He had an eye for those things at that point that were available. Yeah, so I mean,
it could, it's if lost episodes of Doctor Who can turn up in attics in Egypt, then
yes,
it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised. My fucking next door neighbor, right, could be like a wealthy guy who went to Taiwan in his younger days, came back with a shitload of videos, and he's just hoarding, and they're literally, you know, just a few feet away from him. And you wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know. I
mean, where are there big Taiwan towns? You know, that's something to consider, right?
A few in Taiwan.
Well, I would imagine, but I'm wondering outside of Taiwan.
Oh, right, I see that. I didn't understand.
Yes, yeah. I'm just thinking, Vancouver, British Columbia. I can do a little bit of asking around.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Taiwan towns here.
I suppose I should also just really do a Cinemageddon search for, given that that's where I was able to grab Mafia versus Ninja, all 3 parts. I should probably do a search just for Taiwan by itself.
But I mean, yeah, go for it. You never know what you never know what someone might put up. But the thing is, that stuff, that's a different level of rare, right? I think, because like obviously the Mafia versus Ninja tapes have been around for decades, and that's just a matter of it being someone digitizing it, right? But that stuff hasn't been around like in any shape or form.
It's not, it's not done the rounds, is it? It's not done, and there's not been a value attributed to it.
Yeah, I mean, think
by
about
anyone who wanted to put it.
Think about how high profile in our minds a Robert Tai directed horror film with couches serving as giant maggots would loom as a must-see. I can't think of anything higher a must-see.
No, there's nothing I want to see more.
And we'd never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think that's probably a good bombshell to leave it on, actually.
Yeah, honestly, this thing's gonna kill me. This is that's how I might die.
You'll be walking up that stairs like in that second part of that romance, that you'll just burst, burst in your head, and you'll spurt blood out of your mouth,
bending over dead. One moldy filled box of old VHSs too many in some province in Taiwan.
Yeah,
and you know, it's how he would have wanted it.
It's how he wants to go. Yes.
Right. See you then.
Okay. Right, very good, very good. Bye.
Cheers, Toby.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers once again for both enlightening and ruining my life.
Our lives.